Okay, so I'm hoping you guys are seeing a screen of issues, and I've sorted this based upon the impact score. And so I'm going to just run through this quickly. I'll just let everyone know that our focus has been on the migration of SCP, which is for the Weather Service, the local applications. That's all moved into the virtual lab. And that took place at the end of last week, and we're still dealing with some small issues there, but for the most part, that all went well. So moving on, the highest ranked item is number 9, or is this enabling automatic VLab sign-in. I think, as everyone knows, that's working now for collaboration services as well as Redmine. And the next one that we're currently working on is Garrett. That's a code review component, and that's about 75% done. And I'm hoping that now that the SCP migration is completing, we'll be able to get back to that and address that. Most likely it'll be completed by mid-April, by the end of April at the latest, but I would expect by mid-April. So that's moving forward. There is one last application, Jenkins, that has a really low priority, given that almost very few people actually hit Jenkins within VLab. So it's not a high priority item. Moving on to the impact scores of 8, developing a theme for public-facing web pages. That's related to what Tao is going to be demonstrating today and talking about. So that is moving forward. The ability to quickly view community owners, we're looking into that, so it's on our radar, and we are starting to look into that. The DDL 28051, the dynamic data list needs capability to upload files directly from the user's computer. That's something that comes with the upgrade to Liferay. They call it DXP, or the community edition is 7.0. We're on 6.2 right now. And so we're trying to weigh the timing of how much effort it would take to put this capability in now as opposed to waiting. Probably it's likely that end of summer, fall timeframe would be the upgrade to the newer version of Liferay, which would have this ability built in. So that's, we're weighing that at this point in time. Dynamic data list, sort, filter, organize. I'll have to look at that, but I believe some of these capabilities are in DXP, Liferay DXP as well. And then we are working on VLab collaboration services benefit from using Liferay personal pages. That's something that we have a plan, and now that, again, the SCP migration is completing, we should be able to get to that this next month. So that should be, it's not super difficult to do. It's just going to take a couple days of effort. Moving on to the impact scores of 7, I'm improving the format of community descriptions. I'll look at that. So that's right. So this will be an easy fix. So we'll get to that quickly. And then members directory portlet, that work has been completed. It's in the review. It's been in the review for a while, and I'll get to that this week. So that's 15.466. Improvements to the My Communities page. We have not, well, we've done some corollary work there with regard to being able to search for the communities. One of our developers just actually yesterday checked in a fix that will allow users to be able to search by tag. So if when you're tagging, when you're creating a new community, or if you go into a community and tag it with particular tags, and a user then searches over those tags, it'll find that today it does not. So I have to review that change, and if everything goes as planned, we should have that rolled out pretty quickly. That could happen as early as next week. So that's that. developing a portlet that shows all the issues reported by you.
Ken, can you click on that one? Can you click on that one?
Which one?
The previous one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this, I think, had other suggestions. There was like highlighting specific, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's like my working communities, they wanted to break it down further. So we have not addressed this aspect of this issue yet, but we'll definitely start looking at that because these are things that aren't too difficult to do. So
thanks.
Sure. So let's go back. And developing a portlet that shows all of the issues reported by you, that's actually been done. We just need to, and that's something that I think would make sense to be on your personal page up here on that 26379. We just need to do a more thorough review of that code and ensure that it's not going to have any performance implications on VLab. But the good news is the portlet's already been developed, and so we just need to basically look at it and make sure it's streamlined and will work well for people. So that's good. Determine VLab users for each VIT organization. This had to do, I believe, with tying into LDAP. And we are looking at that. This is related to another issue too, and that is we have established organizations within VLab for specifically for the weather service. And so I can show that very quickly. So we come into here, and if I show you at the control panel level, there's an organizational structure, starting with NOAA, and then it dives down. And so under NOAA now, we have the Weather Service. If the other organizations wanted something similar, we could do that for them as well. And then under that, we have the regions. And then under each of the regions, then we have all of the sites. And so the plan here is that each of these field offices will then have a community associated with it, and this is all being, the impetus behind this is that so AIR, the AWIPS integrated reference, this will give users out in the field within the Weather Service the ability to create reference material within their own community, which then their field office will be able to search for within AWIPS and get those hits. And so we've built out the infrastructure for these, the whole organizational structure within the Weather Service is duplicated within here on the collaboration services side. And we've put together, or we've started to put together a community template for these field offices, and I've got some feedback from like the Warning Decision Training Division, Steve Corfiti, and some others. And so what we're looking, and I think Tao has provided some guidance too, and so the plan then is once we've established that and settled upon that template for the community, that template would then be used to create the associated communities for each of these field offices. And so that's what's happening. And then how this ties into LDAP then is that when users log in, it's kind of there are 120 some of these field, actually more than that, because there are the RFCs and the I think the headquarters too. So in that situation, we needed to deal with the management of communities or members joining the communities, and so because of the organizational structure and because LDAP stores that information and attributes, we can then auto-assign people to the right field office, assuming that LDAP is correct, and our spot checks look for the most part that they are. So that's the intention, is to auto-assign people to the fields, to these community or to the organizations, and then they become members of the communities. And so I think that has some relationship here too, in terms of narrow which group members are, or which part of the organization they're a member of. And so we can tie into that. So if there are other pieces, so if we wanted to do something like for NOS and the other line offices, we could at least assign them to a high-level organization. And I think that would help some of this. So that's that one. And the syntax highlighting, we have not had a chance to get to that yet, as is we did some simple searches for existing plugins within Redmine for chat. I didn't see anything there, but I'll look again more thoroughly to see if we can find something in the existing solution. The enhanced project and user-specific notifications, I'm not sure. I'll have to, I think that has to do with like notifications within VLCS, having this similar capability. So like when you come into here, if we go back to when you log in, there's this notification portlet up here that basically in the application itself, you can get notifications of things that you're watching or monitoring. And I think the idea was to develop something similar within Redmine. And so we haven't had a chance to do that yet either. Or I guess that's actually 21.8.19. So I'll have to look at what 21.15 is. I can look at that after this meeting. But so then we're getting into things. So this Kongming request using template to improve the look and feel, that's actually, like I said, that's related to the developing a theme for public-facing pages. Tao is representing, both Tao and Kongming worked on this. I think Tao actually did the majority of the work, but so she will be talking about this request today and where it stands. The needing more UI similarities between VLab portlets. Tao has offered to, from a look and feel perspective, I'm going to provide her with a list of the portlets to see if we can use some of the styling that she's applied within the theme at the portlet level. That'll address some of the things. I think that DXP and the upgrade to Liferay will also address some of these issues. I haven't looked thoroughly within the new version to see if there are more similarities, if they've done a lot in that area. But that's something we can look at. We are working on NOAA employees who have not logged in. This involves actually pre-populating VLab members with everyone from LDAP. I think if my memory is correct, there are over 20,000 users in LDAP. So we, I have one of our developers looking at that and seeing if it's on a local instance going to cause performance problems. So that's, so we know how to do it. It's just we need to make sure that it's not going to cause problems by having that many users. And then related to this is if you're going to load all these users into our systems, we need to make sure that there are cleanup scripts that go through regularly and remove users that are no longer in LDAP. And that work has been completed. It's ready for my review. So, and making the join date visible, I had someone look at that, and I don't think that that's been completed yet. So, and I think I'll stop at level 6, as I don't think we've done anything on these, anything below that point. So, are there any questions for me? Okay, I'll hand it back then. So Brian or John, did you guys want to move on the agenda?
Yep. Yeah. What's our next agenda item, John?
Sorry, I was on mute. I was rambling on back there. So yeah, Steve Smith will provide us an update on the major activities before the VLST. And just real quickly, Steve, will you need to have the screen, or are you just going to give us a verbal update?
Just verbal, John.
Okay, then I'll go ahead and take it back here, and you're ready to take it away.
Okay, thanks. Thanks everyone for joining the call. I, remind that the VIT is really, really important to VLab's mission. We do need, sort of objective, independent feedback on what we're doing, without which we're sort of flying blind. And so I do thank everyone for participating in this and doing due diligence to carry out the mission of the VIT. So I gave a VLab forum talk last week. It was on sort of where we're going with the VLab. If you were not able to attend, you can go to the VLab forum website and download the recording, or just leaf through the PowerPoint slides if you're interested in that. So I think that was a 2-year. We've done those sort of appraisals, if you will, every 2 years, and look at where we've been and where we're going. So I think you might find that interesting, and you might share that. Thank you, John. With your colleagues who also might be interested. As Ken was saying, and in that presentation, I've introduced, not an unfamiliar concept of what we do in VLab development in terms of large things, aka boulders, rocks, and pebbles. And as Ken indicated, last Friday we sort of got another boulder put to rest, which was the software collaboration portal, which was an important part of the AWIPS program in maintaining software for local applications. So not all that glamorous of an effort, I'll say. A lot of yeoman work by Ken and Jason Burks to accomplish that. Lots of details, a lot of gory details, moving wiki pages and verifying that they were transferred correctly, and etc. And now the task remains to sort of help the users who are familiar with the SCP functionality with the sort of modified functionality of the VLab, so they can continue to use that site for the purpose intended. But it is an example of, the strategic nature of VLab, and to sort of help reduce our IT footprint throughout the agency, and move different applications, different databases, etc., to a safe, secure location through the VLab where people can access them wherever they happen to be geographically or organizationally. And there is an implied and real cost savings to doing that, and it improves the security posture, because we have, in this case of the software collaboration portal, the urgency to move it was exactly due to a IT security risk on the legacy servers. So this is, when you're chatting with your colleagues about VLab, that's important to point out. I mean, we have, and if you track the number of things that fall into this category, it's not insignificant, and there are others that are out there, sort of orphaned servers, orphaned applications that are at risk. And if they're still being used, VLab turns out to be a fairly good solution for capturing them and preserving their functionality for foreseeable future. I just want to, I guess, highlight further in terms of things coming up. I've mentioned this several times, but I'll reiterate it again. I'm virtually every few days I'm tracking this. The NOAA CIO, Zach Goldstein is to sign a memo and roll it out publicly within the NOAA community that will allow NOAA employees under certain conditions to host their software on GitHub.com. And GitHub.com is a public website that's used by millions, maybe I'm exaggerating that, but many people all over the world for a place to store software in Git repositories at no cost, provided they make them public, and if they want to keep them private, they have to pay for that. But in NOAA's world, GitHub.com represents a tremendous enabler to allowing NOAA government software developers to work with non-government, non-NOAA software developers to work collaboratively on joint software development projects to benefit NOAA's mission and hopefully to stimulate the economy and et cetera in the private sector outside of NOAA's boundaries. So we're very much looking forward to this. It represents a wholly new set of options for NOAA collaboration, specifically focus on external collaboration that we didn't have, at least officially and legally, until this memo comes out. In particular, it will be a key piece to the solution for the next generation global prediction system. It's a numerical weather prediction modeling prediction effort that has a lot of money behind it. It is needed, desperately needed, to basically help that project move forward. So this, I think we need to discuss this more within VLab, and within the NOAA community. But the way this is going to become real within NOAA is that one of the biggest conditions that's required for people to do this is to have a sort of gold standard, they call it, or platinum standard repository of their software that is kept safe and backed up within NOAA boundaries. And the memo is going to state, I believe, that it's the responsibility of the managers of these projects to say that they do that. VLab, by its basic definition as an IT infrastructure, already has that. So if people are storing their code, their baseline code within VLab, and they want to pursue this GitHub.com thing, they can do it without any hesitation, because their code will already be in a safe, secure, backed up government facility. So, that conceivably can drive a lot more traffic and usage to VLab once that happens, and people who don't have that necessarily safe solution or don't want to build one, they could go to VLab right today and make that happen. So that's something that we're going to be, I really think it's a lot of unknowns, but a lot of good unknowns. I think a lot of potential for broadening NOAA's reach in the case of the weather domain, the great U.S. weather enterprise, and facilitating a lot of interesting work. So I do want to bring that to folks' attention. And maybe, hopefully, knock on wood, before the next time I speak with you, that memo will be signed and out there. But it's been a long time in coming, and there's reasons for that. But I think that's something that we will look forward to, and look forward to a lot more innovation and a lot more creativity coming to bear when we are able to make this happen. Previously, there are limited options to do that and sort of onerous, and this is going to greatly facilitate NOAA's ability to sort of engage, let's put it that way. So I don't have anything else, I think, for the moment. Are there any questions on any topic in general, or on my comments that I just finished?
Steve, this is Brian. One thing you had brought up, or John had mentioned, was a discussion. Oh, and I see it's there about the science sharing. So I'll wait until we get to that. But hopefully you're able to stay on for that discussion.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was something that I guess I'm the driver of. I basically, which it's super to help the VIT to give us guidance on what things we should do next and what new things that we should build. But I'm looking for, maybe this is a first for the VIT to weigh in on something that we think probably should be sunsetted or moved to another location or something. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys on that.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second. So any questions for Steve?
This is Todd from NOS, and I apologize. You probably said this at the beginning when you were talking about Zach signing the GitHub memo. Is that a foregone conclusion that he's going to sign it, or do we just believe he's going to sign it based on what we're hearing? I just wanted to...
Todd, you've been around, I guess.
Yeah, like I don't have... I mean, that'll be awesome if he signs it, because believe me, we use it anyway without telling anyone officially. But,
yeah. So every indicator, and we've been tracking this for more than a year, is that that we are close. We are closer than we have ever been. All right. So we're down to a draft, and there are a few things that have to be signed off in the draft. There was a few more questions that Zach had or the ITSOs had. And so I think we're down to, basically nailing down those few other things in the draft. And then it'll be signed by Zach and basically be policy. So awesome. I mean, yes, there's a lot of people who would echo that awesome adjective. Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully you'll be seeing that soon, and then the angels will sing and the trumpets will be blown and all that stuff.
So Steve, I think it's okay to say that I think they're trying to move in the direction of providing a provisional authorization to operate, right? Yes. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the strategy. Exactly the strategy. So very good. Anything else? Any other comments or questions?
All righty.
All right, very good. I'll hand it back over and continue on.
All right, John,
So
next item.
Yes, that would be, we're going to look at the latest VLab theme that Tao and Kongming had been working on. And this is addressing several of our VIT tickets. So, Tao, do you need to show us your screen, or would you like me to show the, I guess,
go ahead and just go to the VLab dev, I think.
Okay. So this is the, as I understand it, the new scheme. It's being displayed on the, I guess it's our developmental system. Is that the one you need to see?
That's right. So
Okay.
basically, it's a new theme that me and Kongming developed. And our goal is to just have some, basically just give a quick, basically have some quick improvement for the theme, and also so that it's the colors and some of the, and just basically clean it up. One of the big improvement would be like the navigation. So we have the third level for the drop down. Also that we just move things around, and also add a few options for the community so they can change it, because one of the challenge for a theme is that you cannot build a theme that will make everybody happy. So it just have some options for the people to change this to different color highlight, and then we will add more some of the options like that. So then each community can be able to customize a little bit. Like you can be able to right here in this theme right now, you can change the background image for the banner, and you also can change the highlight color. But in the future, we might be able to add in another option would be let all the people to be able to display the border for the portlet. And the biggest ticket item that we are going to working on is to make all the portlet have some similar look. And that is that'll be a challenge because first we have to identify which portlet that we need to work on, and then we will work on particular portlet and migrate them so that we have consistent theme and looks. Another thing that we might want to do is like where you said that we have a web content display and you have some of the static text. And we might want to come in and basically just add a little bit look to it, style them so it becomes more consistent with the theme. And that is basically it's an ongoing project. And Ken said that he's gonna give me a list, and I'm gonna get that list, and I'm gonna work one by one. I think right now the theme is in VLab dev, and had been testing out for a few people. But once that I get more like feedback to it, I can just go ahead and work more on that.
So Tao, I apologize. Did you mention multiple tiers? So
yes, I mentioned there's multiple tiers. Like there's multiple tiers for like a third level, and I think that and one of the things that we might want to do is have a showcase community where we put some of the portlet, and we're gonna style some of the portlet to match, and also basically just have most used portlet up, so then a new community or like some community want to see what can they do with a community, they can come in and see it, and that's gonna be happening after we got the theme finalized.
okay, thank you. Yeah, I think science sharing actually has multiple tiers, or more than two levels deep.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Can't
there
seem to
is.
get it to work. Here's
Yeah,
one.
yeah, something like that.
And then the other thing is at the footer, I think that's there have been some changes there as well at the very bottom of the page. So.
So you can basically you can add more, and if there's a need for each community to have their own sort of like a little footer, we can make that happen.
All right. So you say
right
you're
now,
still open to additional input?
Correct.
All right. So if the VList or the VIT would like to provide some feedback, you're more than welcome. We're more than welcome to do that then.
How would
that would be great.
How would you go about changing the theme slightly if you wanted for, let's say, your community?
Yes, I mean, if you go under right now, I just have a few options, and if you know, if some of the community have some feedback and want some more change, I can add more option too. But if you go to admin configurations and go to the pages, and when you see the theme, you know, like let me see right now, and go down all the way, you can see that like you can have the site highlight color. You can change the highlight color of that to a different color. and you can have a banner background. But if you can change the theme, okay, click OK and come back to the site, and you will see there's some change to it. That we don't have a file upload for the banner, so you really much have to come in and upload a banner somewhere on the document library, and then copy the URL into it, and that will enable you to change the banner on the header. So I think
Gotcha.
for now,
Thanks.
you can check in the NOAA private policy footer. You can check that. Yeah, and then you can come back, save, and then come back, and then you can see the changes.
Well, this is good. I think this is good. Some additional options.
So basically, you can see that just the color has been changed. I mean, you will probably need to get of course, you have to get some color that would be better, like maybe yellow or something, or red. But that was just a subtle change. You can see that little subtle change right there, the color, and you can change the banner. I might add one more, which is like having a border for Portlet, and because of the adding a little bit a 3D to it, with the border, a little bit shadow, so that in case some community want to have that as a common look for the whole. I mean, you can coming in Portlet, and you can customize by adding some style sheet here and there. I mean, but it's good to have just like off out of the somebody that's come in and change some options.
Any other questions or comments? What next steps here with the themes? You think you're ready to move it to? I can't remember what Ken said earlier. What's the next step?
Yeah. So the steps at this point is we're trying to get solicit feedback from a wider audience, and then we want to look at some of the more common portlets and see if there are some things we could do to improve the look and feel of those. And then once we get buy-in, we'll roll this out to production. We want to advertise this to the community owners so that they're aware of this change is coming, and make sure that people don't have issues or run into problems with it. So.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, keep in touch about the soliciting feedback.
We can provide the link to the development portal to development VLab VLCS, so that you guys can go through and take a little bit more time. Your feedback's important. So.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, now we're getting back to the science sharing item removal/move, and I think it's John/Steve to provide some info on that.
Sure. So, of course, on my screen it's pretty wide, but if you, sorry about that. But as you notice that screen real estate is pretty precious, and so we were looking at the number of options, the different menu items that are displayed in the navigation menu. And we looked at science sharing, and we realized that there really wasn't a lot of activity. It's been like a year since the last posting was placed in there. And if you look even further back, it was like 3 years ago since the next to the last one was posted. So we were beginning to wonder that maybe the valuable real estate taken up by the science sharing menu item could be used better for other things. So the proposal is that we would like to see about basically finding a new home for that. Perhaps under National Weather Service, there would be another item under here called Science Sharing. So we wanted to get feedback from the user representatives, and that's it. And so I open it up to discussion and question.
Well, just from an Eastern region perspective, definitely moving it under the NWS thing would make sense because it, it specifically says sharing materials relevant to improving NWS operations. So I think that was the original intent. Now that we have the NWS menu, that would make sense to go there. Also, one thing I was thinking about when you made this or brought this idea up was what's the need in general for the library? We have the NOAA library that exists already, and we now have the AWIPS interactive reference as well for NWS operations. So I'm not sure what other documents would be in the science sharing library. And I don't know if Steve or you or anybody else has some of that history to think about what else would be in there.
Yeah, this is, John, I'll give a little bit and then you can add. The idea behind the science sharing library was that there's a lot of non-reference material, tech memos and preprints and things that were stored locally in WFOs and other places, and that if they were uploaded to a central location, they could be shared with a wider audience. So that was the initial intent, not for publish things that are available through other sources like the NOAA library or the AMS, for example, but sort of the non, sort of the things that don't necessarily get to that wider distribution. And they could even be, sort of summaries and unofficial reports and a whole host of things. So that was the intent. In order to share things more easily. And in fact, going back to the last McHick meeting, gosh, how many years ago, there was an action item that came out of that to create this sort of thing. So when they were still tracking those actions from that McHick meeting, HIC meeting, we were able to say that action was completed and point to this science sharing library as the solution. So it seems like the need for it was, established, but the lack of activity, a lack of documents being uploaded says that, it's sort of a false requirement. People said they needed it, but when it's there, either they don't know it's there, or that's there, but there's really not a need. So I'm not sure. Your mention of the AWIPS reference. Integrated AWIPS reference capability is an interesting one because that one sort of really brings it home to day-to-day operations, and if the material is of value to day-to-day operations, then that's the place it would go, and there it would be at the fingertips of the forecasters and so forth. I think there's an intent anyway to curate that a little bit closely. Whereas the science sharing was like, you just load it up there and there's virtually no oversight at all. You just people upload it and then people search it as they wish. So it's a little bit more, although it wouldn't be available through AWIPS, it's sort of there for people to look at. So you asked a good question, what's the need? And I'm not sure. But I think that's probably wise to keep the capability around in case that we decide to, the need is really valid and we should just promote it better, and people would go, oh gosh, if I had only known it was there, I could have used it for this, that, and the other thing.
Okay, so maybe, at least my suggestion, and I'll wait to hear from especially some of the other weather service folks on the call, would be to move it under the NWS tab, and let's see if it does get any use going forward, and if not, maybe the AWIPS interactive reference gets a lot of use, and then maybe we can revisit it down the line. But that would be my suggestion, and open it to anybody else on the call. Anybody else around on the call from the Weather Service? Or are you all on mute?
Does anyone object to it or have concerns about moving it? All right. Well, we can certainly always move it back. So the nice thing about the VLab, very flexible, allows us to move these things around fairly easily. So
that was very well put, John. That's a quotable from John Chattel. We can always move it back. Yep, there we go. I love that.
Okay. So we'll press ahead with the movement, making it under the National Weather Service. We have a little space in the menu bar, and take it from there. So let's see. Okay. That takes us to the ranking effort for one of our tickets. I have that here. So we had just one ticket come out of the last meeting, and it involved basically providing a community owner the ability to preview any changes that they might make it as seen from a typical user as opposed to their super user status. And so we were in the process of ranking that, and we had very good participation. Thanks to everybody for pitching in and sharing their idea or their feelings on that particular item. And with the exception of National Marine Fisheries Service, everybody provided some input, and the impact score based on our algorithm has been determined to be an 8. So if we're satisfied that that truly represents the VIT's view of its impact on the user, then we can close this out and basically let the VLST know where we stand on it.
Sounds good, John. I think we should do that.
Okay, great. I'll take care of the details, and we'll have ranked another one.
Perfect.
Which brings us to the next item real quickly, since we're running out of time. We have a new item that I would like to suggest as a candidate for consideration for the VIT. And this is involves basically Jenkins. So if you're familiar with the role that Jenkins plays in the software development process, it has the ability to essentially take the software, do various things with it. And one of the things that one could envision doing is checking the status of the software compilation, let's say, or the building process. And then making that result visible to users, users both within the Redmine system, but potentially also on the community side. And so if we look at this link here, this is what I call a plugin available for Redmine. And basically it just creates a representation of the results of running Jenkins on a particular project, and then displaying that on what's called a static URL, so that it can be placed anywhere within a web page, and then people can either click on the link to see it, or it could be rendered as an image. And so this particular user has requested this capability. There's a plugin that exists potentially to make that happen. And so we're sort of soliciting the VIT's endorsement. Are there any questions about what the proposal is or the issue is?
Generating.
So is this something that we would like to endorse as the Virtual Lab Improvement Team?
Sure. to do it. I'll second your nomination.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that, Brian.
I'll second your nomination.
Oh, okay. Well, great. Does anyone object? Nope. Then I will go ahead and move it to the ranking spreadsheet and let everyone know that we have yet another one to rank. All right, so Brian, I turn it back over to you.
Yeah, so the next item is the strategic planning team. Doug's not here. We've got a few people who are interested in being a part of this group, but this group, if you all remember, kind of helping to meet the needs that Steve was talking about earlier in the call to be a little bit more forward-thinking and work with to come up with some broader strategic goals for the VLab. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking for a lead for that group. I wouldn't imagine that it would take too much time. It would be sort of a subgroup of the VIT, and it would, maybe meet once a month or something like that, where the idea would be that we get started and move forward on it. It's not too time sensitive, but the sooner we can get this started, the better. So,
I'd also add,
go ahead, John.
I was just going to say real quickly that the executive secretary is certainly available to help with the sort of the labor-intensive activities that might take place. So we're just looking for someone to provide that sort of guidance to move us forward.
So hopefully members will consider this, and we'll keep trying. But we need you, as like the VIT wants you thing from John. So hopefully we can get a volunteer by the end of the month. If not, we'll try to keep pressing on this. And that's all we have, I think, on that. So, John, I think next is action items from the call today, or a review of previous action items.
Okay, we can quickly go through the existing ones. So, oops, I guess I did that correctly. There we go. So we have a couple ongoing ones, and I won't reiterate those given the lack of time, but we'll scroll down here to, we have a few actually open ones. So we have Eric Rasmussen is a potential source for VIT issues, and Tammy's agreed to visit with him at some point and pick his brain. So hopefully she'll have some time to do that soon. Is there any update for us, Tammy? We also have
too many mutes going on here. No update, but I hope to get to that shortly after I'm done serving jury duty next week.
All right, cool. Civic duties, yay.
Yeah.
We also have a couple open action items involving our strategic planning team. One is to basically form the team and create a charter to sort of provide some guidance on what it's all about, and then also to incorporate a couple, sort of, I guess I can't remember what the other one was. Determine, and incorporate policy topics. So those two items are there for the strategic planning team. And then Brian agreed to go back and look at this particular issue and figure out just sort of what he envisioned going forward for that one, perhaps to bring it back to us again for consideration. And with that, I think I will mention that in terms of new action items, I personally have the responsibility to go in and update the spreadsheet, the ranking spreadsheet, to move the one that we just finished ranking and add the new one, and then change the status of the two issues and make sure the VLSP is aware that we have ranked this one action item or one issue. And did I miss any action item? Okay, great. I turn it back over to you, Brian.
At this point, I now realize we're over time and I have to go too, but so I just want to open the forum up, and then maybe, John, you can just send any new action items and we can review that by email. So is there anything, other topics that need to be addressed at this point? And I'm not hearing anything, so I motion to adjourn the meeting. And our next meeting, John, is when? I think it's the...
Okay. It'd be, I need to get that. All right. Hold on just 1 second.
It's the 10th of April.
Yeah, it's the 10th of April at 3 p.m.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we'll change that in the final notes. And yeah, if you can send the action items from this call for review. I've got some notes, but I'll review whatever you have, and then we'll have the meeting notes as well.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Thanks all.